Hi, this is Ken Okel. I want to give you 3 tips for using a teleprompter. I spent over a decade in TV news, so I was using a teleprompter pretty much every day. I got used to working with them. It's exciting that in today's world, it's relatively affordable to buy a teleprompter or some sort of app that you use with a smartphone or a tablet or on your computer, or perhaps there's some sort of gadget that you purchase. Whatever the way, you're able to see the words that you want to say on a screen. So as you're recording a video or doing a live stream, you've got the words right there, you're confident in them, and you don't have to worry about forgetting what to say. Those are some of the great things about a teleprompter. I'm not reviewing the software or various systems that you can buy. That would be for another video. And let's face it, there are a lot of items on the marketplace, so I don't think I even check them all. I want to focus on performing and getting better with a teleprompter. So the first tip I give you for working with a teleprompter is to practice. I want you to practice with it because the more you practice, the better you get. So before you unleash yourself on the world, I'm sure you'll be great, but first practice a little bit. How about 10 minutes a day for 7 days? Get some scripts, load them up, read. Practice. Get used to using the software, the system. Get comfortable with it. What you want to do is to try to be as natural as possible. Very often when we're using a teleprompter at first, we're a little mechanical because we're concentrating on the words. We're focusing on them a lot, and we lose some of our humanity. Also, what can happen is we get this thing called prompter stare, where you're concentrating on the words and your eyes are going back and forth, or maybe even your head. Not exactly natural conversation. For that reason, I want to give you tip number 2. Tip number 2 for using a teleprompter is to watch yourself. I want you to do practice recording. So when you're practicing your reading, hit the record button. See how you're doing. Does it seem like you're yourself on camera, or do you seem a little stiff? See what you do well. See what you can improve upon. Do not beat yourself up if at first you don't look that good. The only problem with not being good at something is not trying to get better. So think of yourself, you're on a journey, you're using something new, practice with it. You may be great from the very beginning. A lot of people, it takes some time. Give yourself that time to practice to get better, because there are a lot of great things when it comes to having a teleprompter. Your words are right there. You don't have to worry about remembering things. It's kind of nice to use, but you got to practice and you got to watch yourself. Tip number 3 is more about scripting, because you want to make sure the words that you've written are meant to be said. You don't want to necessarily be reading an English paper out loud. Now, the English paper may be great, but it may have some really long sentences. So by the time you finish one of them, you're out of breath. Well, that's not good. You may need to shorten some sentences. When I practice things, sometimes I will notice that if I'm stumbling on a sentence where I can't quite get it right, even though the words are right there on the teleprompter, it may be because the sentence is just too complex. Looks great on the page, not so good when it's coming out of your mouth. Look at the script that you have. You want it to be almost like you're talking to someone, maybe like a friend. Ideally, when you're working with a teleprompter, it's almost as if, let's imagine you were out at a sporting event and a friend of yours said, "What's the score right now?" And you just look over at the scoreboard and you tell your friend, "Oh, the score is 110 to 109 with 2 minutes left." You would just say it. You wouldn't have to be, "It is 110 versus 109 with 2 minutes left." See, you would just say it. It would be automatic. That's the goal for working with a teleprompter, where it's your friend, you're talking to it, the information is there, you're taking those words and you're delivering them as yourself. I want to give you a bonus suggestion, because I know for some of you, you may be on the fence when it comes to using a teleprompter. And I got to tell you, I used teleprompters for a whole lot of years, but I don't use one today. I'm not saying that I may not get one down the road. There are a lot of great ones out there. But for me, I use a different method to make sure I'm remembering things. I got to admit, my memory is not a steel trap. I can't remember word for word, but I can remember sections of information. So for me, the key tool, Post-it notes. What I will do is I will put some key words on a Post-it note, things that can jog my memory about a section that I'm going to talk about. And then I put those Post-it notes up by the camera, maybe just below the camera, maybe slightly above it, maybe to the side. Some people will even take a Post-it note. They will cut a hole for the camera lens and then stick the Post-it note right there on the camera. Whatever you want to do. I've just written a few words up there. For this video, I'm not using a Post-it note. Maybe it shows. But I knew going in that I had 3 sections that I wanted to talk about when it came to using a teleprompter, performing at your best. So I just made sure I knew those 3 points, and I felt confident enough that I could talk about them. And if I stumbled or had some sort of big problem, it wasn't the end of the world. It was more important to get the information out. For some people, you will be great with the teleprompter. Others, if you're on the fence, if you're not sure if it's a smart investment, why don't you try the Post-it note strategy first, see how that works, and then maybe go ahead and invest in a teleprompter. I hope these tips have been useful. My name is Ken Okel. I'm a professional speaker. I talk to audiences about ways you can perform better on the job, and I pull from my background in broadcast news, hurricane relief, and professional ballet. I know, one of those might be a slight surprise. I'm Ken Okel. Take care.